All right, what's up, everybody? So I'm going to start this off with a fantastic video about a company called Grow. So we're decentralizing the farming industry, and you're going to hear from our CEO tonight, but I want you to watch this first, and then you're going to get a lovely introduction from my buddy Ryan about Will, and we'll get going. So here we go.
Do you know where the food you ate today came from? The vast majority of us don't. Do you know where the feed that was fed to your food came from? Even fewer do. How much impact did the production of that food have on our environment? There's just no way of knowing that, right? And how much of the price you paid for that food would you guess made it back to the farmers who produced it? It's much less than you think. Studies show the more farmers receive, the better the quality of the foods they produced and the methods they employ to produce it. Yet the vast majority of our food is controlled by just 10 huge public corporations. These are middlemen who leave razor-thin margins for our farmers and focus on profits, often at the expense of sustainability. But what if there was a way to democratize things? That's why we created Grow United. Grow's mission is to decentralize the global agriculture and farming industries using blockchain technology to do things that until now have been impossible. We all want to live in a world where consumers are more connected to the foods we eat, more connected to the earth we all share, more connected to those running the farms that feed us, and more connected to the impacts our decisions make for all of us. Grow United launched the Grow blockchain with a mission to nourish the world by providing three things: transparency, traceability, and trust. Transparency, giving anyone the ability to see in real time the path their food took to arrive at your plate, including anything that was fed to it, sprayed on it, or injected in it. Traceability. Grow United is working on an instant notification system to alert you if something you purchased has a recall or health alert. Trust. The Grow United logo is peace of mind. When you see produce carrying our seal, you can purchase with confidence, knowing each item is rigorously inspected, tracked, and verified on the blockchain for quality. Grow United is working on green initiatives like planting trees, grasses, and cultivating wetlands to balance out the carbon emissions of food production. These carbon credits are stored on the blockchain and purchased by those seeking to achieve their net zero goals. Grow United is also investing heavily in vertical farming projects that increase food production while reducing their carbon footprint. So join our mission, and together, let's grow.
All right. So, welcome everybody. I love that video. What I loved even more was watching these guys out in Hawaii, and I saw all those steaks. I was so jealous. So, my name is Brian Rhodes. It's September. It's April 25th, Thursday night, and we have some amazing special guests tonight. So, luckily, I got introduced to this company by a buddy named Demetrius, and he connected me to Billy Womack, and he has been a phenomenal mentor, just showing me how to do this, teaching me about each different brand, and just, basically just guiding me along the way. So that's what I've been trying to do for everybody else. And we've had some massive success and just falling in love with these brands. So I connected with my buddy Ryan, and he's like, I went out there and met Will, and I was like, call him, get him on here. Billy could do the same thing. Billy was probably in Hawaii or he was sick there for a minute, but Ryan got a hold of Will. And Ryan, I'm gonna let you take over. I know you're in the car. Go ahead, introduce Will, and then we're gonna have Billy come on and probably talk with Will a little bit too, and then Billy's gonna share a little bit about Connect United with everybody as well. So we'll go from there. What's
Awesome.
up, Ryan?
Hey, Brian, good to see you. Hey, thanks everyone for your time this evening. Brian, I really appreciate all the value that you continue to bring to each and every one of us. Thanks for being just a wonderful human and fun to work with, collaborate on. I mean, Brian and I are on separate teams and communities within the network of Connect United, but he approached me and I love it. I remember going through some emotional intelligence training, and it's a philosophy I have in my life. Everything I do, I want it to be win-win. How can we all win? And too often in the past, if I lived in lower levels of consciousness, and I see it all the time out here in the world, people operate in win-lose. Someone else has to lose in order for them to win. Tonight, you can feel refreshed to know that you're going to get to hear from our CEO from Grow. And I flew out to Puerto Rico a few weeks ago after getting introduced to this opportunity. I wanted to know firsthand, I wanted my wife and I to know firsthand if this was something that I could really count on, if I could sink my teeth in, if I could plant my flag here and really commit to something that had a chance not only to be around, but could absolutely transform the financial aspects of my entire family forever. And after a week in Puerto Rico, and getting to meet Will a couple of times, even meeting his lovely wife and his family, and some other great people, including Tony Swantek and the brainchild behind this, right? I am convinced. Does that mean it's a guarantee? No, but I'm working this, I'm treating this, and I'm operating from an all-in commitment that this is going to be the tip of the spear, that we're going to be the company that shows the world how we're all going to transfer everything into the blockchain, how we're going to take a more advanced and better technology and implement that into industries and areas that basically allows us to have a better world and a better life. And I'm in San Antonio tonight with my son Addison. We flew out here to actually meet with some other incredible business people that actually, because of Will, that's why I'm in San Antonio. He introduced me to this guy named Andrew Clark, who is just a phenomenal human. And my son and I are here meeting with him and some incredible people on his team tomorrow. Guys, it's just exciting not only to be around some of the most successful and wealthiest people on the planet, but to discover that they actually are still in tune with their heart and they have integrity and they want to do real good in the world, and they are aware of their own egos and their own greed and their own fear and their own insecurities. And you can really put your guard down tonight. Does that mean we're perfect humans? No. Does that mean this is a perfect opportunity? No. Does that mean it's a guarantee that everything's going to work out? No. But it does give us an incredible chance at doing something special. Imagine being in a conversation back in the late 90s and being able to position you and your family for the internet. Imagine being in a room with some people in the early 2000s and being able to position yourself financially for every single human on the planet owning a smartphone. Well, you're at that place right now with blockchain. And tonight, you're going to hear from my friend, someone that I've grown to know in a very short amount of time, have just tremendous love and respect for. We've made a really, really deep connection, and he is a brilliant, brilliant businessman. He'll tell you a little bit about his story. He's going to tell you a little bit about why he believes in this so much. And then he's going to give you kind of not only the perspective of why the Grow Project is so awesome, but why all of these projects are awesome from his point of view as a CEO and more from an operations. So with that being said, please help me welcome and get your notepads out. Money makers or note takers, really get yourself in a position of not being distracted. And man, thanks so much for your time. Will Taylor, please come on. We're so happy to have you tonight.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it, brother. All right. Welcome, everybody. I love doing this. I have been deep, deep in the blockchain work for a while now. It has completely changed my life in a positive way. And hopefully I can spread that to you over the next little bit here. If I can get some interaction in the chat. Brian had mentioned that there's some Grow node owners out there. So if you own a Grow node, or if you are running a Grow node right now, throw something in the chat. I want to see who we have that's already part of our community. There we are. There we are. Boom, boom, boom. Amazing. All right. Yeah, that now they're popping off. Amazing. Good work. Good work. Amazing. All right. If you have seen my Grow presentation before, if you have either been on a webinar with me, been on another call where I gave the Grow webinar, put that in the chat. I want to just know if anybody's here that has seen me present it. Okay, Doris has, David has, Brian has not, Dr. Fred has, Sally has. Okay, perfect. Billy's seen it a few times. Billy saw it before it was before it came out. All right, beautiful. So we've got a lot of people on this call, and about looks like 6 of you have seen me give it. So for you 6, there's going to be new stuff in it. I'm going to show you some of the same slides, but there's going to be new stuff, and there's going to be, in fact, you guys will be the first group in the world to learn some stuff that is very, very exciting on the growth side. So shout out for you guys to be in Connect. Connect is always the first one to know things, but we haven't even put it on Discord yet. And then for all of you that have never met me, my goal today is to go through why blockchain, why Connect, and how we are leveraging that to change the world in our mission with Grow. Okay. Is that fair for everybody? We good with that? Amazing. All right, let's roll. I'm going to share my screen here. Can everybody see this Grow blockchain slide? Brian, I see your face. You got it?
Yes.
All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, guys, as I go through this, please put in the chat questions or remember them. I'm going to open this up to all of you so we can have some go back and forth, if that's okay with Brian and Ryan. I just like having some interaction with the community that we're building. So we'll open that up, but I don't see the chat as I go through this. So bear with me in the next kind of 15-ish minutes, because I'm going to give you a lot of information and a lot of things, and then I'll stop sharing and we'll open it back up. All right. So the Grow blockchain, our entire goal is to harness blockchain technology to nourish people, animals, and the planet. And I'm going to go through how we're going to do that today and help all of us wrap our head around why blockchain, in my opinion, Ryan's opinion, Brian's opinion, Billy's, is the most innovative tech on the planet matched with AI. And the decentralization of that tech is the key for me to move humanity into the greatest time period that we've ever lived in. I'm young. I guess everything is relative, right? But I'm fairly young, and I used to think when I was about 25 to 35, I used to wish that I grew up in a different time. You know, I'd go watch a Braveheart, a Saving Private Ryan, some amazing drama movie. And I was like, man, those times were where the world changed. What happened during that decade is what moved the world into this new revolution or something. And I used to wish that I was born in a different time. When I was introduced to blockchain, all of that changed. And I woke up to the realization that I am exactly where I need to be in this life to be a part of moving us forward into true decentralization and having this tech. And so as I go through this tonight, like think through and try to understand at the depth that I do and we do, that we are at the beginning, the precipice of what will be what the internet was in 1995 for the next 3 decades. That is what we are talking about. And our ability as a community is the reason that it will move forward. And I'll dive more into that in a little bit. So who am I? Why the heck should you listen to me? Why am I here? So my name is Will. Ryan gave me an amazing introduction. I appreciate that, Ryan. We met, Ryan and I went to breakfast, and I go to breakfast with quite a few people. You know, you do these lunches, and within 5 minutes, I knew that Ryan and I would connect. And a 30-minute breakfast turned into about 3 hours, and then another dinner and another meeting. And so it's really been amazing to get to know him, introduce him to more people, and see that grow. So I live in Puerto Rico. I have 3 children now. I have a 2.5-month-old baby little girl that just joined us. And some of my background, I'm from the fitness industry. So when I graduated college, I played rugby professionally and I went to get an MBA, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to change the world in whatever way I could, use my passion and my talents to grow. And so that led me to buying gyms. And so I walked into a CrossFit gym to join the gym, and I ended up buying the gym instead. And so I went home to my wife and I said, "Hey," she said, "Hey, did you join the gym?" I said, "No, honestly, I didn't really like it, but I found out the owner's moving to Africa and he said he'll sell it to me." And 2 months later, I owned the gym. And that led me down this rabbit hole of fitness and health coaching. And my best friend from college, we played rugby together. He's a multi-generational farmer. In fact, in these right two pictures, if you look, I'm okay, but I really want you to think about everything behind me in those pictures. Those fields and that mountain is 17,000 irrigated acres of farmland. And my buddy's family runs all of that. And he was working on it. He went home, he gained like 20 pounds. And so he called me and said, "Hey man, I'm fat. I need you to help me lose some weight." So I started working with him. We got him shredded and lean so you could see his abs again. And in that process, he realized, and something I had kind of already known, was that the quality and quantity of the food that we eat is the number one lever that we can pull in our health environments. And so if you want to live a healthy, vital life, the food that you input in both quality and quantity, that changes the game more than anything that you can do. And so in that process, he said, "Dude, we're making all this food." They have 80,000 cows, milk, beef, cherries, potatoes, apples, and nobody cares that we're growing it regeneratively and putting in all this blood, sweat, and tears to grow it. Will you help me build an app that will show people that what we're doing on the farm actually matters, and that what that whole process can you help us make more money? Can you help us show it? Can you track and trace it? And I said yes. And that led to this picture, which was the last day in my gym, where I closed this gym down. I sold another one, and I went all in on the food space and co-founded a company called Grow United, with the mission to nourish people, animals, and the planet. And just some backstory, we were running that for about 2 years. We built the app. I'm going to show you guys the app in just a second. And we knew we needed blockchain. And we started going to get blockchain reps and consultants, and how could we put it on blockchain? And they wanted millions of dollars to do it. And one day I sat back and I said, "I know this is the thing, and I know it's not time yet, but when the time is right, we're going to do this for real." And about 2 months after I had that, I met Wright and Rhett, who may be some of the best blockchain people in the world. He was one of the biggest Bitcoin miners in the world. And they said, "We want to change the world in food, and we need a tech that will track and trace the food." And I said, "Well, I already built that. And if you guys have the blockchain side, we'll merge in the tracing side." And so 2 weeks after our first meeting, we merged everything together, and I've never looked back. So just kind of some backstory for you guys on how we got to the Grow blockchain. And so the Grow blockchain is what decentralizes food and is the tech that powers everything that we've ever wanted to do to nourish the planet. So our goal and our vision is to decentralize the global agriculture and farming industry, because, like you saw in that video, 10 massive public companies run the entire food system worldwide. They also, with Monsanto, run everything that happens to our soil and to growing food. This has led to some massive, massive problems. And that biggest problem is centralization. And so when you guys look at blockchain, some of you may be new to blockchain, some of you may be deep in it, maybe you own some Bitcoin. But the key idea to understand here is that what blockchain allows us to do when it is leveraged properly is to take a centralized system and completely decentralize it and put the power where it should be, which is in the producers and the consumers within that ecosystem. And so when you look at any single project inside of Connect, The entire reason that it was built is because we identified a centralized system with massive issues that could be solved with decentralization. And the first thing that has to happen before anything can be decentralized is we need me and you to run nodes inside of that project, okay? It's a really important thing to wrap your head around because it took me a minute to wrap my head around it. And I meet with a lot of people, a lot of very wealthy, powerful people that have made hundreds of millions and billions of dollars in what I call Web 2 normal businesses. And what we are doing disrupts all of that. And the base of it is you have nodes that are running and you have a community of people that believe in what you're doing that can then build the base foundation to go on top of. And so for a visual representation of that, imagine if this graphic on the right only had the circles that are in the middle. So you see the purple one, the light blue one, the other blue one, and then the green one. Let's say it only had those 4 around blockchain. Well, what does that look like? It looks like a little bit better version of the one on the left, which is just a really, really big circle for centralization. And so you are the reason that this can go. And so when Ryan was saying before of, is this a home run? Is it guaranteed? No, nothing is. But you want to know what is absolutely guaranteed right now is that we have a community of people that believe in what we're doing. We have started a food revolution in the projects that we built, and it's growing on a daily basis. And as that continues to grow, and as we take the things that I say and the things that you learned tonight to people that believe in it, and we start getting more and more nodes active, what it does is it becomes the fuel to the fire that is already built. And there's going to come a point, I'm telling you, where it's just going to explode. And it all starts with building this graphic on the right with more and more lines and more individual dots running and growing and getting it. Does that make sense? Amazing. All right, I see a lot of head nods. So now that we understand that, we have our base understanding of why decentralization is so important, how blockchain and node ownership ties into that. This is how we build on top of it. So you guys already know this, hopefully, and if you don't, just a quick reminder, why even blockchain outside of decentralization? That is the biggest key. But what it does is it tactically allows us to have data control because it can be open source and publicly shared while also creating a proof of identity behind private keys. So for all of you that own Grow nodes, you have a Grow wallet that we do not custodian, that is your wallet behind private keys. I don't know your name. I don't know your data. All of that allows us in a lot of different ways to come back to true data ownership. It's immutable. It cannot be hacked and it cannot go forward. When I show you Farm Tracer, I actually did this once as an exercise. I'm a very average hacker. In fact, if anybody in here can actually computer program, you would laugh at my skill set. But when Farm Tracer was a web-based application, I could hack it and go in and say, hey, change the date of this cow and change this food, and nobody would know. I could change the data and nobody would know if I was good at hacking, and I'm not even that good at it. And then lastly, it records and tracks assets and transactions. And as I talk tonight specifically about Grow, before I even get into these points, what we want in all of our projects is for people to believe in the mission that that project has, because that is what's going to add the fuel to the fire for us to be able to grow. And there's a lot of ways to believe in it. There could be, I believe in where this is going from a utility standpoint. I believe in the mission as a consumer or a producer. And so my goal today as a representative of the Grow community is to show you the utility that we have, which all that means is, how the heck do I actually use the node, use the technology, and then does that token have a use case for us to be able to use? Is it backed by real assets? And if anybody made a lot of money on Bored Apes and NFTs, I'm sorry, but that's like the dumbest use case for humanity. Paying $100,000 for a picture of a graphic of a monkey doesn't help move humanity forward at all, okay? But what things do is when they're backed by real assets. And that's what our projects are about. And then do you have a team of people that you can believe in? So when I think about grow and our mission, I have to think about two people. And every single one of you will fall into one of these two categories or maybe both. The first one is we have to make the producers the hero of the story again. We do not know where our food comes from. 100 years ago, we pretty much knew because we were either growing it or killing it ourselves, or we got it from a local neighbor. Now, with global infrastructure, we will never go back to that. That is why having blockchain allows us to move forward. Kind of going back to, I wish I was born in a different era. I used to watch I grew up on John Wayne movies. My dad's in the military still. He's a 2-star general. So I grew up with like old Green Beret movies and John Wayne and all that. So I used to think, even when I got married, I'd say, oh, I just want to move to the ranch. And you guys will all meet Austin one day, and I'll talk about him here in a second. I'm not the real cowboy. I'm the guy that shows up to the horse in my Lululemons and tennis shoes that all the real cowboys make fun of. And then when I put my jeans on and try to ride, I can just barely keep up. And so my goal is to make the real guys, the guys that are doing it every day, the hero of the story again. And this is just an example of that. This is Austin Allred, my best friend's farm. Well, all of you and me included were eating our food on Thanksgiving Day, smashing our turkey, eating our pie. They were putting out fires that burned over $1 million of hay, and their entire community jumped in and helped them, because if they would have lost all their hay, they wouldn't have been able to feed their cows. Their dairy would have stopped producing. They wouldn't have meat, and they wouldn't have had some of the organic fertilizer that they use on all of their farms for cherries and apples. So that's the work that goes in to getting our food, and we just have no idea. That's a problem in my mind. We want to bring that back and make the producers the hero of the story. And then for all of us, how many ate today? Anybody eat today? Amazing. You guys are awesome. All right, we all ate. I've done this a couple times, and I've had one person that was at the end of a 72-hour fast. And so usually I'll have a faster on. But all of us have to eat. Maybe you go 5 days, 7 days. I have a friend actually who just finished a 40-day fast, but that's the most I've ever seen outside of Jesus. So all of us have to eat at some point. Our goal is to return the confidence that we have in the trust and quality and source of our food. And let me do a quick bet with you guys to prove my point here. So this is a real bet. I want you guys to play with me for a second. Just close your eyes. I want you to think about all of the food that you ate in the last 72 hours. Okay? Just think about some of the food. All right, you got some of it. If you can tell me where it came from, what went into growing it, and the carbon footprint of that, I'll have a grow note assigned to you within the next 48 hours. Can anybody win that bet? Nope. All right, I've given that bet to probably 10,000 people yet, and I haven't lost it. My goal is to lose that bet. One day I'll lose that bet. And I've done it with Bitcoin before. Sometimes I tell people I'll send them a Bitcoin, and maybe one day I'll actually send someone a Bitcoin because they'll know. But that is the goal. That's the goal of Grow, is to be able to know where our food came from, what went into it, how did it nourish the planet, so that we can, with our mission at Grow, nourish the world with transparency, traceability, and trust. And so this is a quick graphic of how you think about blockchain. So this is, as you come into the blockchain world, what the heck is it? What does it do? Well, what a blockchain becomes is it's this base foundational technology, particularly in the way that we build it, to become a true layer one that things can be built on top of. And then, as you see in this graphic, you create projects that come in and tie to different use cases in blockchain. And there's about probably hundreds of ways that companies can use this blockchain and leverage it to make their company better, more traceable, more user-friendly, and more decentralized. And so when you think about anything that we're doing inside of our Connect world, this is how you think about it. And then when you look at the projects, it's like, okay, this is how that project ties in. This is how it adds utility to the blockchain. This is how it adds utility and use case inside of the token. And so the Grow blockchain is all about nourishing the world, people, and animals, okay? So it's all in the ag space. So I'm going to show you some projects that we've built. So this is the Farm Tracer software. This is tracing the world's food. And Brian mentioned Hawaii. So this picture right here, can everybody see the picture of me in Austin or no? No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Let me stop sharing really quick and share again. What about now? See that ugly guy on the left?
Yep.
All right, perfect. He's been my best friend for a decade. If he was here, he'd give it back to me. So it's a little unfair that he can't give it back to me here, but this is Austin. So Austin runs Royal Ranch. We built Farm Tracer together. We flew him out and we shipped out all of this meat and this honey and other food from his farm. And if we scroll in here, you see this QR code on every single bit of the food. So what that QR code is it allows us to scan it. And that way, everybody that ate dinner with us that night was able to go to farmtracer.com, scan that QR code, which then pulled up this page. So you see the animal ID 64761. They were able to see the origin, the growth, the breed, the conversion of that cow, everything that that cow ate down to the half of a pound, and the carbon footprint of that cow. So when we ate the grow dinner in Hawaii, every single person knew what went into the food that they were eating that night. And why is that cool outside of just that piece right there? Is because it makes the producer the hero of the story again. So Austin, when we built Farm Tracer, he was able to go to Climate Pledge Arena, which those of you that know Amazon, most of us know Amazon here, they bought this arena that the Supersonics used to play at. And when they bought it, they said all the food that has to come in here has to meet all these stipulations. And nobody could meet it for beef until they met Royal Ranch and Farm Tracer, which then led to an annual 7-figure contract at higher margins than Royal Ranch was getting anywhere else. And now has led to partnerships where we sponsor the NHL Kraken, the NFL Seahawks, feed a lot of their players, and are working on other major sports teams and actually back to the rugby world for both Austin and I, which is kind of fun. We're also taking this same technology into the legal cannabis space. So our ability to track and trace food is using the blockchain to then leverage that. Now, I told you guys there'd be some new stuff. So at the end of Q2, so we're looking here in about a month, you will be able to take your grow token, and from our partner farms that are farm trace, you'll be able to use that token to actually get food. So that distribution of your token, you can actually turn it into a steak that's being shipped to your house. So when you talk about use case, okay, when you talk about what can I actually do with this stuff, you can turn it into food that you can eat that can then nourish your body. And right now we have a massive wait list of farms that want to come on and offer that. We are just being very picky about who comes in on the farm tracing side, because we want to make sure that operationally we have the ability to truly track and trace, because blockchain is amazing. It's still only as good as the data you put in. And so if I'm putting in bad data, I still have bad data. It can't be hacked and it moves forward, but I still need to make sure that we have really, really good systems to track and trace the data that's coming in from the food that's being verified on the blockchain. And so just for you guys to understand as kind of insiders of Grow in our community, is that's a really big problem. Like when you talk about tracking and tracing the global food system, it is a massive lift, because every single thing and ingredient that gets produced is produced in a different way. The way we do beef is completely separate from the way we do cherries. And the way that we do potatoes is completely different than we do apples. And milk is different than eggs. Okay. But the way that we get the producers on board for this is us. Because the more demand there is from us to want to know where our food came from and use the token to be able to either get a discount, a rebate, or buy that food, it drives them to go do the work to come in and track and trace. And so it's kind of a push and pull where we are very much wanting to pull the producers with us as the consumers, because we're raising our hands to say, hey, I want to know where my food comes from. I want to know what's in that. And I want to know what those 90 ingredients on the back of the ingredient list are that I have no idea how to pronounce. Or actually, I want to get rid of them because they're probably causing all of the chronic disease issues that we have today. So that's the goal with Farm Tracer. All right, I'm going to move on to our another project, and I promise I'll keep this up. But you guys having fun? We're still good? All right, I'll liven it up here. This is the most exciting update in the blockchain world, worldwide, today that you guys will all hear, for me at least. So if you don't know what carbon credits are, let me give you a little bit of an education before I talk about the exciting things that are going on there. So carbon credits, they can kind of be broken down into two main categories. All of this is the amount of carbon that is being emitted into the atmosphere. And there's a lot of news and there's a lot of things about carbon, but there are ways to reduce it and there are ways to capture it that are beneficial for the environment, regardless of where you stand on carbon credits. Planting more trees, regenerative farming, shutting down more coal mines. All of those things lead to a better environment, which goes back to our vision, which is nourishing the world. And so through regenerative farming, we are able to capture these credits. So all you need to think about is a carbon credit is something that's created by either emitting less carbon or sequestering carbon. And then those credits can be sold to a company that emits more carbon than they sequester. Okay. And that is every Fortune 100 company in the world right now. So it was a $414 billion market in 2023 and is expected to be $1.5 trillion as we get into 2030. The biggest issue in this market is transparency and traceability issues are expected to hamper the growth of the market. And here's an example of that. Delta's in a $1 billion lawsuit right now because the credits that they purchase were not verified and they were duplicated. Well, when they get put on a blockchain, all of that changes. We can now track the entire chain of custody of that carbon credit. And so here's the exciting news for all of you in this carbon ag world is I spent the last 3 days with a company who is the leader, the worldwide leader in getting data for carbon. And so as some education for you guys to now be experts in carbon credits by the end of the night, the only way to go get your carbon credits verified was through a nonprofit company that has a backlog of projects of 3 years and 55,000 projects. What this means is if you have a way to generate these credits and you call this verifying company, they'll say, that's amazing. We'll send somebody out in 3 years and then we'll get it started in about 5 years. It's completely archaic and asinine. Well, with this new company, they have satellite footage and have created an AI interface and technology, and they've completely mapped the world over the last 5 years. And so with this satellite footage, they can see inside of 1 pixel down to 30 centimeters. So this is a little bit scary, but they can take a picture of your backyard. Okay, so think about Google Earth and now put that on steroids. Okay, that's what they've done. Well, you can now take this and you can go back 50 years to see how much carbon was sequestered or mitigated by the actions that have been taken in that piece of land. And with their AI, they can forecast forward how many credits could be achieved or garnered if you take certain things. What this does is that 3 year and 55,000 project backlog, we can now do it in 3 days. 3 days. And that company, who's the largest gold standard in the world, has contacted them, which is now us, to be the standard globally in carbon credits. And so we have the opportunity to be the blockchain for the carbon credit standard worldwide. And that was all done on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. So talk about being first movers. There's your exciting news for the day. And I know carbon credits may not be exciting to everyone, but this is why this is exciting, okay? When you talk about utility and you talk about driving a market and you talk about getting users and getting people onto a platform, which is the goal right now, is to build a community of people that use the platform, that drive utility, that drive transactions. We are talking about billions and billions of dollars and trillions of transactions of checking and verifying that data. I had a conversation yesterday with two companies that said we have $1 billion and $1.5 billion. And when you verify your credits with the process that we're creating, we will buy all of them. All of them, every single one. There is not a bigger market in the world right now than what we're doing. And why this is exciting for me is when you go to the idea of tracking and tracing food and knowing what we do to track and trace food, we cannot do that with the farms at scale today. It's going to be very difficult. I already told you it's a big lift, but kind of Ryan talked about the operations of this. This is all of you that have operational brains. Think about going to every production in the entire world in different countries and all the different ingredients and trying to track it all. It's a massive lift. This we can do today, tomorrow, this year, which is going to provide us the momentum to change the world on the food side. So that's carbon credits. That's what I get excited about, and that's what keeps me up at night. Now you guys know. What else we are doing is, you saw in that video, we have grow boxes. These are some of the most innovative grow boxes in the world. They do carbon credits, they do food. They can do 160 acres of wheat with 2% of the water. So what you would take on 160 acres in one of these towers, they can grow the equivalent of 160 acres with 2% of the water. So their markets are Africa, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, all of those countries that currently import their feed from the United States and Europe, massively expensive. They can get an ROI on this box in 12 months. And then we're working with some other companies that are doing it for people and the animals, or for people in their backyards. Lastly, our big goal, where do we want to go? I want every single person on the planet to win the bet that I did at the beginning of this, to where we know where our food comes from. We know what went into it. We know that it's going to have the most nutrient density, and that we're going to help each other. We're going to eat, and we're going to connect all of us with the origins of our food. So how can you be involved? You guys know, and Billy's going to talk a little bit here at the end, and I'm going to make sure I leave him some time, but I'm going to end with this, and then I'll open it up for some questions for me. Web 1 was the information economy. This is where Google, Internet Explorer, Yahoo came in, and they said, hey, at your fingertips, you can have as much information as you can get your hands on. And that led to the platform economy, which said, hey, not only do we want you to be consumers, but we want you to be creators. So now you come create on the platform, which was amazing. But in both of those models, it was a centralized system where that was owned by a centralized model. Well, Web3 and blockchain is the ownership economy. I do not own the Grow blockchain. I founded the core tech that led to the ability to create a decentralized system, and I gave that tech to the blockchain, to all of us, to every single node owner that's on this call. Well, as that grows, and as these projects grow, and as the utility in these projects grow, guess who wins? All of us. And I win just as much as you win. And the more people that we add to this, they win with us. And so that's the opportunity, is to get involved with good projects that want to decentralize, change the world, and be a part of it on the ownership side, not just be an observer. That's my spiel, Brian.
Man, I better buy some more nodes. That is incredible. I didn't know all that. Like, I'm so thankful that you did this, because I haven't got to see one of these. You know what I mean? Billy's been hiding them from me. What's up, Billy? Glad to see you feeling good. I'm gonna let you take over.
I'm not sure if I'm feeling good, but I'm feeling better.
Better.
I've had a allergy attack and a sinus infection all week, so I've been out of the loop, as some of you guys might know, that's been trying to get me on a call and a Zoom. So I've been saving it for Will. So I knew Will was coming on. So matter of fact, I got my grow hat here. If you guys can see that. She's sure pretty. So guys, for you guys that got that, I'm not sure if you grasped how big grow is. You know, I've been here from day one, way before any of these CEOs were here. And I remember getting a phone call, maybe it was a year and a half ago, maybe it's 2 years. I don't remember, Will. And I got it from the guy, Wright, who started this whole thing. He said, I got a guy. You need to get on the phone with this guy right away. He's coming on. He's going to build this agriculture blockchain with us. And I need you to talk to him right away. And that was the first time Will and I spoke. Will, how long ago was that? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was just under 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So ever since then, Will and I have tried to collaborate, talk, and I've got some people in agriculture. Will, by the way, we've never followed up on the guy in California for the boxes, by the way. Um, Will's got so many things coming at him from 100 different directions, guys, and it's all positive. A lot of people, when they get started in blockchain, they have no idea where to go, what to do, or anything. And the nice thing about having a blockchain partner like that we have and we supply for our brand CEOs like Will, we've got the tough part, which we think is the tough part, building out the blockchain. As long as they bring creative ideas, as long as they bring lead sources, and Will has got an abundance of people chasing him down, literally trying to be a part of this project, which is an amazing problem to have. Correct, Will?
Yeah, we have been the fastest growing blockchain that we have ever launched.
Yep. And guys, that is super exciting. I'm going to show you a little bit of, excuse me, if I can get through. I do apologize up front. I have definitely been under the weather all week, and I'm trying to fight through it just for this Zoom. This is the first Zoom I've done in a week. So just bear with me. And I want to kind of show you guys the importance of what these nodes can do and supporting. Let me do a screen share. Ignore my sniffling. No, it's not that awesome. Oops. There's micro. Oops. Oops. All right. So let me go into.
Really cornered the market on the grow nodes.
No, that's called early movers advantage of really just getting in, understanding what Will is doing. So
everybody likes Billy's little subtle flex. Oh, let me pull this up. Oh, shoot. Oh,
that was not intentional. Oh my goodness. Usually I do that over here on this side. But guys, when we support these blockchains, I'm just going to briefly go through this because my voice is not going to cooperate tonight. I thought it was well enough to do this. The importance, holy, what the heck? You guys see this yet? Fast Stack. I was in the group with the leaders putting this thing together, but get one node from each in the most popular projects of Connect. Look at there. Will, have you seen that?
Nice.
I haven't seen it live. I just knew it was coming.
I did too. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was there. That's pretty awesome. I wonder if there's a price break. I've been in the chat, but I haven't been able to keep up with everybody. So anyway, guys, this is really cool. So guys, I'm going to try. I'm not sure, Brian, if I can finish this or not. Let me drink some of my
We'll get you some
coconut water from Hawaii. Excuse me. We're going to see. So in the next couple months, you're going to see Grow, Element, Galvin, Switch, and Win all start moving into the market because it's done by the community leaders. Now, I want you guys to understand the brands have nothing to do with the tokens and the distribution of the rewards. I think we stress that every single call because I want you guys to understand the brand's responsibility is for the brand to build out the company, and that's exactly what Will does. And now he'll lean over and tell you guys to go get some nodes to support because everybody's always asking Will, how do I support you? How do I support the brand? And the way that you support that is buying these software nodes right here. And so what happens is when you buy these software nodes, all right, I will go into mine now that it was open. And what will happen is when you buy the software nodes, you're in here and you'll start getting your rewards daily, and they'll just come right here into your wallet, the daily distribution, and then they'll go into your wallet. Boom, boom, boom. And they'll accumulate in time. But what you really want to see, as community, we really want to kind of build off of this. And obviously right here, you'll start seeing, oh, there we go. Let me refresh the screen here. But until we really until the community really tries to get this out into the marketplace, until we get it out onto the DeFi exchanges, until it starts hitting the level 1 exchanges, these are really just kind of fictitious numbers per se at the moment, but they're good for good numbers nonetheless. So as you build your network of nodes, I'm all over the place. I can't think because all this medicine I've got in me. As you generate your nodes here, you get them online, you're sporting the network, you're getting these rewards in return. And eventually, for me personally, I think this, like Will said, I'm biased a little bit to Switch because Switch was my baby because I was here with Kathy from day one, way before all these other ones. And then I got a lot of those. And then Element came out. I loved Element because it also does something with that. And then I was really big on that. But I'm telling you guys, if you guys have heard me on this, on Brian's Zoom for the last couple months, ever since Brian's got here, the number one node I've been stressing to you guys about is grow. As Brian will tell you, this is the one that I think is going to come out swinging the hardest, the fastest. It has the most impact. You're going to be able to take these rewards right here in your back office. I'm not sure if you guys caught that. Some of you guys did. You're going to be able to catch some of these rewards right here. Well, how can you walk us through this? So we've got the rewards. They go right here in our wallet. We have them here in the back office here. Will there be a link, an external link portal to a grocery store, if you will? How is that going to be? How do you envision that?
Yeah, great question. So the way that will work is it will actually be an external third-party shopping cart. And so there'll be two sides. The Nourish Marketplace will launch. It's currently in an alpha test. And then with our key partners, you'll actually buy directly from their store. And so the key is for right now, for us to go directly to the farm or the ranch, be able to buy from them. And then we have partnerships with them where they will accept the Grow token in exchange for their food. And sometimes it will be for the whole portion of the food. Sometimes it will be a percentage off of the food, depending on the partner. But our goal is to just continue to build that. So as community members in Connect, if you're in the Discord, as we start to launch these and build, you'll be the first to know. We're actually going to do some pre-launches tied in with some NFL players, some NHL players on eating that food. So that's how you'll find out.
So they'll go to that particular store, and when they go to check out, they'll say pay with credit card, pay with Grow token, something to that effect, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So guys, that is super, super exciting. When you can buy your groceries, your steaks, your vegetables, your poultry, anything that you want, that right there is utility 101. That's what we're really, really excited about with Grow. I can't really talk that much this evening, so I'm going to make this really short, and I'm going to turn it back over to Brian. I thought I was going to be able to speak a little bit more, but my voice is just cracking all over. But get you some Grow nodes. Matter of fact, Brian, if somebody, Brian, in the next 24 hours goes and gets a brand new Grow node, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get them a Grow hat, just like this right here. Will, what do you think? We get them a Grow hat?
Sounds good.
I'll tell you what, we're going to get, if you go buy a Grow node in the next 24 hours, we're going to do this. We're going to get you a Grow hat. And then we're also going to get you a Royal Ranch hat, and we'll send that over to you. So if you guys just if you go get a Grow node, screenshot that and get it to Will, get it to Brian or myself. And you guys can find me on Instagram. That's where I see everybody on Instagram. That's where I do 99% of my business, Billy Woe. But if you screenshot you buying a Grow node today or tomorrow, brand new, screenshot the day's date, we're going to get you a Royal Family Farming hat, and we're going to get you a Grow hat. So you have one of each. How's that? Will, you think we could do that for them?
Yeah, sounds good. And I'll add some secret special stuff as well. That's good
perfect
stuff.
Perfect. So whoever's the first one to show us that the next 24 hours that buys a Grow node, supports these projects, we want to incentivize you to do that. And I will let you know that the leaders, our core team, when I say core, I'm not saying corporate. It's very important you understand the difference between corporate and core. Our core leaders, we are rolling out some new promos that will be coming out in the next 72 hours that are going to be really cool spiffs for you guys. for those that are really building. You don't have to build, but those that are builders, you're going to see some really cool promos that we're going to be rolling out. We're finishing up the last couple touches in the next day or so. We're going to roll that out for you guys as well. So it's going to be really, really exciting to share with you guys and those that are runners. I'm not sure if we've released this yet or not because I've been sick all week, but we do have another rank that we are releasing. Brian, did they put that out there anywhere yet, or is that just me releasing some information?
They've talked about it a little bit here and there. Tony did a Zoom on
Okay.
it, so a lot of people's got to watch that.
Okay, good. So, yeah, me, Tony, Rai, all, Tomas, John, all of us, we've come together. We met in Kauai to really kind of say, how do we incentivize those that are really building? How do we incentivize those that are really kind of putting in the time, the effort to lead a team? And we've got some really cool stuff that we're getting ready to roll out for you guys, because remember, the core is us as leaders. If we don't go out and do this, nobody's going to do this. I'm really love Grow. I love what Will and these guys, the first time I talked to him, we rolled up our sleeves. We started doing phone calls and getting on with people. But now he's just, this guy is like literally trying to, he's got a herd of people following him around, I tell you. But that's a good problem to have when your leaders have that much business being thrown after him. I remember another one or two of our other brands. At first, the momentum is them like they're grinding and grinding and grinding. All of a sudden, it just goes like this, and everybody's chasing after that brand. And that's where Will and these guys are right now. They've got the momentum behind them, and I'm excited to be a participant in that and be a part of that with him. So, Brian, I'm going to turn it back over to you at 7:00. So I don't want to go over, especially with my voice crackling. So I'm just going to kind of turn it over to you guys and let you kind of close it out.
Yeah. So thank you, Billy. Thank you, Will. That was a fantastic overview, Billy. I've been there doing Zooms, having a coughing. It makes you sidetrack the whole time, especially being on probably Benadryl too. I fall asleep. But yeah, guys, I was told Billy's advice was like, get some grow nodes. Check this out. Watch as much as you can. I jumped on YouTube, get on Discord. Those two things, start learning as much as you can about this, because the more I look at it, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get one. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are going up in price so fast. So you can see what Will was talking about. And that's probably why they went up so quick, since Wednesday. So wait, is that yesterday? Was it yesterday, Will, that it went that happened?
Yeah, I think on Monday of this week we were at 41 and now we're at 46, I believe.
Yeah, 46. So
Well, I could tell you, I sowed yesterday, 2 days ago, even being sick. I think I sowed 70 of them. I had one of my attorneys come in with,
Billy's
400.
fault.
Yeah, it is.
And
Yeah.
that's nobody knows what I told you guys today either. So that's without that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
pretty cool. I'm very impressed by that. I know one of my buddies, Dr. Fred, had a question. Are you available to buy anything right now, buy food currently from the Grow Farm?
It's a great question, Dr. Fred. So we are currently, if you live close to a farm, so we have the farm in Hawaii, one here in Puerto Rico, Washington State, and Texas, that if you go into the farm, you can. Like, I buy all of my food with Grow Token here in Dorado, Puerto Rico. However, we are working on the checkout process. The hurdle for that is the crypto checkout process and bridging from the reward into a utility and that process. So we have tested that for the last 2 months and are moving into a beta test. And then that will be live and you guys will be the first to know when you can.
I think we have a partner called Switch that might be able to help you with that, right?
No, Switch is, we're working very closely with Switch to make that process as easy as possible.
Yep. Awesome.
So, man, there you go. So thanks, Will, for bringing so much value. And Billy, thank you too. I mean, you just dropped a ton of gold nuggets on everybody. So if you were new here, I'm sorry this wasn't like a technical overview of Connect United, but there is one going on right now and it just started. I don't know if Sally, if you got that link handy, you can drop in the chat, but you guys can click on that and it's kind of it's a Zoom about most of the brands and kind of, maybe George is doing it and kind of going over the compensation plan as well. But, this is a fantastic company. I'm so excited to be on the other side and being a part of something that is so real. And, but man, thank you, Will, for coming again. This was huge. I've been like, God, I want to meet this dude, and I want him to talk because I'm telling everybody to buy grow, go get him, go get him. So, but yeah, thanks a lot, and get back to the person that maybe did invite you if you are new or you're watching this recording, and go get your grow nodes and get with that person. They'll walk you through setting it all up. It's really easy, and welcome to the community. Thanks, Will. Thanks, Billy.
Thanks, Will.
Guys,
Thanks, everybody.
See you later. Thanks, Sally, for dropping that link.
Great job.
Great job. See ya
Awesome.
in the next meeting.